Chris Lee and Blake Lovell of Southeastern 14, where we are experts in SEC basketball, not so much IT, as we've learned this morning in a frustrating few minutes of trying to get this podcast running.
Just for the record, apologize to fan bases of teams who are playing in this slate of games, because the first time around we did this for about 30 minutes, and unfortunately the second time around I don't think we're going to hit the 30-minute mark. But I promise you we will still give you some strong opinions, but they may be in very concise form. So
yeah, I think we've learned that when we're doing these videos, you have to hop on one foot 3 times while you're connecting your stuff or whatever, because there's no rhyme or reason to why it works one day and doesn't. But anyway,
there's not. So just so everyone knows that if our video looks off one day, if our sound, it's just we have done everything we can do, but we will not blame our recording software by any means, but we have some issues at times with some of our stuff. So
well,
there you go.
Georgia's going to have an issue tonight, I think, when it goes to Gainesville. The Bulldogs are about 14-point underdogs, according to Ken Palm. The Gators have Colin Castleton back. They've won 3 in a row. They've had good performances lately from some other guys like Myron Jones, Tyree Appleby. And Georgia has played some teams close, but on the road, not so much, Blake.
Florida wins next. I'm just kidding. But Florida probably does win. Yeah, this is one that I think Florida should take care of business, perhaps in a pretty efficient manner. Georgia has been bad on the road. We talked about it. You go back to their most, or really all their SEC road games. Lost by 8 at Vanderbilt, 17 at South Carolina, 23 at Auburn, 16 at Mississippi State, 15 at Kentucky. So really, and got blown out except for one of those, but that was Auburn. But still, I think Florida's the kind of team that Colin Castleton's back. Georgia defensively, in those games too. Think about this. Take out the game against Auburn where they gave up 74, 99 against Arkansas, 85 to Vanderbilt, 83 to South Carolina, 83 to Auburn, 88 to Mississippi State, 92 Kentucky. So they're giving up a lot of points. Florida has been not an elite offensive team, but when they get going, they can put up some points at times. So I think Florida wins this 14, 15 points or so. Sounds about the right range to me.
Yeah, Georgia has issues defending. When we're calling lines, we don't have lines as we do this on Tuesday morning. But what we do look at is Ken Palm, which is usually pretty close to lines. So that game tips off at 6:30 Eastern again in Gainesville. Okay, this one, God help you if you have clarity on how it's going to go, because we don't. Alabama is about a 5-point favorite going into Ole Miss. Ole Miss has played better of late. We have joked about Alabama all year long. In our previous podcast that we did that you won't see, I made the joke that the most Alabama thing ever would be to get a 10 seed in the NCAA tournament and go to the Final Four this year. It just feels like that kind of season for Alabama. Blake, I know you're feeling a little better about Alabama in this one, though, just because it's kind of a must-win for Nate Oates and the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, my confidence has gone down since the last time we recorded 30 minutes ago. But this is a good thing, too, because for all the people who like to poke at me for kind of proving both sides, or before I ultimately make a pick and say, I'm not too sure. Just being honest, that's SEC basketball. But I'm still going to pick Alabama in this game, but here's what, worries you about that. They lost at Auburn. They lost at Georgia. They lost at Mississippi State. They lost at Missouri. They've lost 4 straight road games. And quite frankly, I don't think they played great in any of them. So that's kind of concerning here against an Ole Miss team that's playing a lot better. But this is a must-win, and something else we talked about on the lost episode of our show here was, this is Alabama lose this game. They're 4-7 in the league, with Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Kentucky coming up next. They'll get in the tournament if they go 8-10, but if they go 7-11, that's a much different story, I think. So they got to win this game, and I think that's kind of what it comes down to. Unless they do what they do and they lose this game, they come back and beat Arkansas and Mississippi State at home, which is a very real possibility.
Seems about right.
I was going to say let's not act like that's not, but I'm going to pick them to finally get off the snide on the road here and actually get a win. but I don't think it's going to be easy. Ole Miss has got Jarkel Joyner back. They played a lot better as of late. They will do some things defensively, I think, to frustrate Alabama, and you can better believe that they will try to make Alabama beat them from outside. Ole Miss, one of the better 3-point field goal defenses in the SEC. 2-point is another story, and that's why I think Alabama has to attack, get their points at the rim, get to the free throw line. That's how Alabama, I think, wins this game. I don't think they're going to win by shooting 35 threes. I find it hard to believe that's going to be a recipe for success. Although I don't think they're going to go 3 of 30 like they did against Kentucky. This should be a close game. I think Ken Palm has it as a 5-point Alabama win. To me, that's about what I would think. But I just, the only thing is, like, if Ole Miss didn't have that game against Missouri where they lost by 25 at home, I would probably look at that line and say, all right, Alabama, with the 5 points, I feel really good about that. But it's kind of just, it's flipped now for Ole Miss. They've started to play a lot better, and I look at that and I think Alabama has to win this game, and that's why I'm going to pick them to actually do that. So.
Yeah, that one tipping off at 7:30 Central again, that one in Oxford. Okay, last one on the schedule, and probably the most interesting one. Tennessee is about a 3-point favorite, again, according to Ken Palm, tipping off at 8 Central in Starkville, facing Mississippi State, which has been pretty good at home. Not so good on the road. The Vols are down Olivia Kumwa, who, first of all, hopefully I pronounced that right. Second of all, he's got an ankle injury that I think is going to keep him out for the rest of the year. And the Vols have 3 big guys who play pretty well. He's one of them. Sometimes he's the best one. They've got John Fulkerson, who's been coming off the bench. They've got Joris Plavsic, who's been starting some. But anyway, that's a big blow to Tennessee. You've got Kennedy Chandler for the Vols, really good defensive guard and all-around guard, facing off against Iverson Molinar, who is just a superstar at State, having a big year. He's been so consistent. You're feeling State in this one, aren't you?
Yeah, Tennessee down a starter. I mean, Conway, he started every game this year. And so down a starter, going on the road, usually the thing in betting circles is, bet the bad news. So you would maybe even think about going Tennessee here, knowing that everybody's going to kind of shift towards Mississippi State with that injury. But Mississippi State's been a different team at home. And we talk about kind of must-win scenarios. Mississippi State's 5-4, but this feels like a must-win to me because they have an interesting schedule set up to where 4 of their next 5 are on the road because they're playing the back-to-back against Missouri on February 18th and 20th. So that adds another road game in that stretch. So the 4 of their next 5 on the road: LSU, Alabama, Missouri, South Carolina. I think as we've said with them, they've got to start finding some good wins somewhere. They've got a couple against Alabama and Arkansas. This would be a really good spot for them to do that. So I'm gonna lean on Mississippi State to figure this one out because they've just, like some of these other teams, what are they in the SEC? They are 5-0 at home, 0-4, 0-5 on the road, 0-4 on the road. So
sounds about right.
Yeah. And they're 0-5 on the road, period, because they lost that game at Texas Tech and got blown out. So,
and only one they've lost at home is to Minnesota, and that was November.
Yeah, I was say that was way back when. Yeah, so that was a good while ago. So, yeah, so I'm just gonna keep that trend going here. I think that Tennessee has played better, but again, down a starter. I just offensively, I think they're figuring some things out, but I'm still a little hesitant for Tennessee, especially against a team like this with good size, good athleticism. I think Mississippi State will be able to maybe push Tennessee, a couple of different directions. They don't want to be pushed in, and I'm gonna take a chance and pick Missouri or Mississippi State in this one because I just think that they're in a spot where they really need a win like this, and I think primetime game ESPN, they may be able to get it.
Confidence level in these 3, in order.
Let's see here.
Florida to win first.
Yeah, Florida to win is at the top of that list. Then I guess after that, Alabama's at the bottom. There's no other way. I mean,
right.
How else do I say it, right? Like I can't put that one anywhere else. So I think I would actually go Mississippi State second, Alabama third. So just in terms of straight up wins, in terms of like if the point spread, again, we're guessing on this, but
And the
I mean,
lines
go
again:
Mississippi State.
Florida -14, Alabama -5, Tennessee -3. If Ken Palm is what they are.
I was gonna say, if Mississippi State's an underdog, I'd take them in that one. I think that I feel decent enough about them winning this game that I would probably go that direction on that one. So
tell folks about our partnership.
Action 24/7 description in the video below. Click on that link. South 14 is the code. Sign up, first deposit. They'll match up to $800 if you want to bet on any of these games, any game, period. Check that out. Code South 14.
Yeah, and if you like baseball, stick around because you're going to love this channel. We've got some stuff coming up. Hope to have launched it by now. We haven't. It's probably going to be sometime this week. Again, it's been a technical issue on another end this time. So plenty of baseball coverage coming really soon because, goodness, baseball is a week from Friday. Crazy. Anyway, he's Blake Lovell. I'm Chris Lee. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do because that helps us a lot, and we'll catch you again really soon.